Hi everyone, this is Dory Rantham with Be Great, aligning business strategy with soul and spirit. And today I'm here with Lindsay, and she is going to talk a little bit about herself. And we're just curious, what does Lindsay do and what does she bring to the conference? So we're very excited to have her on board. And let me just distinguish, we have two Lindsays. So this is Lindsay Pera. So Lindsay, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we're just going to kick it right off, and
Sure.
if you would love to share with everybody what your passion is, what you do, that would be great.
Yes, I just loved hearing you say the tagline again, because business strategy, the intersection of business strategy and soul and spirit are what I do. That is my zone of genius, and my passion is helping intuitives and creatives and socially conscious businesses and even nonprofits find ways to leverage the good work of strategy and process and all these traditional business elements that are so important with the pieces that we know are real and true for us in this day and age, like our deeper understanding of our values, our why, our energetic selves, our spiritual selves. So I have a past life in the corporate world in Silicon Valley in the Bay Area in management consulting, and also in software and startups. And then I have brought that forward with my entrepreneurial side, helping people navigate through transformation and change with everything from apps that help you see yourself in new ways and encompass that whole self, the intellectual and the health, healing, spirit side, all the way to consulting and programs and a membership community that I run called the Mystic Society, which is just a free, lovely, open space for us to come together and be really candid and true about our deeper meaning, our awareness of our energetic and spiritual selves, and how we can navigate, as I said, both of those things in a way that feels very true and aligned and also prosperous and magical for us along the way.
So how do people find you, and how do people find that?
Absolutely. The easiest way to find me is online at lindsaypera.com. So that's Lindsay. I'm an AY Lindsay. And that's Lindsay Pera, P-E-R-A. And from there, you can navigate to any one of my businesses, whether you're coming out of chronic illness and looking for that piece of the human journey, or whether you're at that place of really aligning to your true purpose and path. You can find options for private consulting on that website, but also a little bridge into the Mystic Society and everything mystic.
Beautiful. I have to share with everybody that I am privileged that I had a chance to have a session with Lindsay, and I was blown away by many things with Lindsay. She's very quiet, but don't let that fool you. She was so powerful in what was coming through on her side, and really her ability to lean into that. And obviously she's so in touch with her intuition. She trusts her gifts and her superpowers. Mm-hmm. And not only did she pull in, though, that the mystical side of what we were talking about, she really put it back on me too. And what's coming through for you? What is your intuition telling you? So it wasn't that she was just sitting on the other side telling me how to deal with the situation, or it wasn't a lecture, it wasn't a psychology session, a psychotherapist session. It really was, at the end of that call, I walked away with tools that I've been using ever since, and that's been a few months ago, that I've been able to pull in and use as I'm on this journey of creating Be Great, this conference that definitely has a mind of its own. It's its own entity. And if you have an opportunity to work with Lindsay, I would highly recommend it. Her Mystic Society is so beautiful. It's just full of people that are like-minded, like-hearted, that are kind and loving, sensitive, but also doing business and doing business extremely well. So I'd like to launch into a question then about your experience in corporate America. Will you talk about the disconnect that exists in how we do business when we leave out such a big part of who we are when we have to step through the door of an office, and even our own offices, how we've tended to do that, disconnect ourselves?
Oh, yes. Well, first, let me just say thank you for those beautiful reflections. So it was
yes.
Lovely to hear. It was lovely to connect with you, but that's also it's part of what I love most, is the ability for us to come together and share what's coming through for both of us and create something greater than the sum of the parts. So thank you for that.
It was so powerful. I can't even really begin to describe what that was like for me. It was empowering.
Thank you.
Empowering, and how I've done business since then changed. So thank you.
Absolutely. And I think you've really segued us right to the discussion of your question too, which is the biggest challenge for me, at least in my experience in growing up in a very traditional corporate family, but then spending my own time there, is disempowerment. There's a sense of handing over yourself, handing over your soul. There's a sense of getting lost in either the mission of the product or the company or the culture. And what was most difficult for me as an individual was how to navigate the truth of what I was feeling in my heart and body with what I was doing each day by putting on my heels and my suit and going down to one market into the financial district. For me personally, it meant overriding cues from my body and my mind for a long time, not listening to the voices that were saying, this isn't the right context for your gifts, not listening to the cues that were saying, there's something else that you're meant to be doing. And when you do that kind of systemic overriding over time, ultimately what you're doing is bringing dis-ease into the body, dis-ease into the mind and heart. So for me, it was a big piece of my journey, taking the steps eventually to separate from the traditional corporate world, to take the leap. We moved down to the Central Coast onto a family homestead, and I did the full off-the-grid raising sheep thing for a little while until I came back to bringing it all full circle. And so what I would say now to people both within and outside of the corporate world, and those maybe even considering leaving, is you don't necessarily have to take the big leap as your first grand gesture to your spirit and soul. I really work with women now to think about how can we begin to take those steps towards alignment from within the context that you're in now. Sometimes in our minds we think we have to do the grand leap. We have to leave the marriage. We have to leave the work situation. We have to move out of the country in order to align. And oftentimes what we find on the other side of that big leap is we have the exact same work waiting for us on the other side. And so not that those changes might not come, but it can be really, really powerful to allow those changes to come from a place of grounding, intention, even magic, as opposed to either leaping from fear or urgency, or like in my case, simply having ignored the inner cues for so long.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And this is exactly why we are excited to have you come to Be Great, because we will have women in the audience that are in corporate America. We'll have women in the audience that are an entrepreneur, and it just becomes so imperative to learn to listen to our intuition, to learn to find those connections. And in particular, I love what you just said about not having to take that kind of a leap to be able to take care of ourselves and learn. And for me, I was going through some big marriage struggles when Lindsay and I were processing some of the things around Be Great, and I was out the door, and things kind of fell apart for me to do that, which in hindsight was a gift, because instead it made me stay right where I was and take a look at, well, let's see if we can go through this instead of getting out of it. And the gifts that have come from doing that, I can't even begin to describe how powerful of a journey that is. And things are beautiful, what's happening right now, and I'm so grateful. And no matter what happens, though, the gifts that I received by staying and being in it, leaning into it, were gifts that I'll take with me wherever I go, no matter what happens. So
that's exactly it.
I love hearing that. I just want to ask you, why Be Great? What is it about this conference? And I think we've kind of already answered that, but it'd be really nice to hear what you're looking forward to, and maybe what you're gonna bring to attendees.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the quick answer is where we started, that aligning to spirit and soul is my passion in the world. So to be a part of this great event, who holds that as its core mission, it feels so incredibly aligned. But bigger than that, you know, like those who will find themselves watching these videos, or like those who find themselves in the seats that weekend, it was part of a greater calling, just a real clarity that this was part of the movement that I wanted to be a part of and bring my light to, but also be a part of the co-creative light that we'll all generate together. Interestingly, I was not clear for a little while exactly what I was being guided to bring forward to you. So I'll share that little behind the scenes reveal. I hope you don't mind, or I know you know that I came to you saying a very clear message has not fully dropped in, and I'd like to stay open if you're willing to seeing what wants to be spoken and what gifts want to be brought forth that weekend. And you were so gracious in granting me that time. A part of my intellectual brain really wants to dive into new paradigm business strategy with everyone and go right into resonance model and how you can navigate non-salesy sales and get that attractive marketing going for you. But then ultimately what came through was more of an experiential time together at that conference where I can bring people into the vibration of resonance, the vibration of oneness of mind. And so what I'm hoping to bring forward that day is a little bit of that new paradigm wheel and the experience of the vibrations of new paradigm business.
Oh, I love it. It's going to be so exciting. And I'm so glad you're on board. And one of the things that Lindsay just said, she thanked me for allowing her to process. But I'm a firm believer that let me back up. I want people at the conference, whether they're a speaker or an attendee, to bring really great energy. And if it's not in alignment with them, whether in general or right now, that's all right. And I want to give everybody coming that opportunity to bring the best that they can possibly bring. So flexibility is key. I want that to happen. And Be Great wants that to happen. The conference itself is telling me just relax. And trust the universe that things are going to happen as they need to, and that the right people are going to show up. So I'm trusting.
Absolutely.
And it's been, the gifts that this conference has given me is, the list goes on, and that's one of the biggest ones, is breathing and trusting that this will be what it wants to be, what it's supposed to be, and then we go from there. And the next one will be bigger and better, and we'll just co-collaboration. That was the other piece that Lindsay mentioned, that co-collaboration piece. Oh my goodness, that's what this is really all about. How do we co-collaborate and help each other, lift each other up, getting each other to that next level, not being nasty, bitter, jealous, and recognizing that we still might have those feelings, but then we breathe through it and we put out our hand. It's like, okay, Lindsay, what can I do for you? How can I help you get to the next level where you want to be? And this is what this conference is all about. It's going to be full of women and a few men that really want to learn and help each other and lean into the uncertainties that surround us in this physical body that we're in on this planet at this time.
Ooh, so, yes.
Thank you for being a teacher for me, a mentor, and
likewise.
Very excited to have you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with people before we say goodbye for today?
Well, you just touched on one of the tenets of sacred commerce, which is our ability as women to move away from old paradigms of competition or lack or envy, and instead come into a space of co-creation and a space where we really can kind of do that linking of arms and rise together. So I just so enjoy hearing you present it, and I'm again so grateful to be a part of it.
Oh, well, Lindsay, thank you so much for being here with me today. And I cannot wait to meet you in person and give you a hug.
I'll give a virtual hug right now.
Right back at you.
Yay.
And everybody else, thank you so much. Again, this is Dory Ransom with Be Great. And we were just speaking with Lindsay Pera, one of our, I just get chills thinking about what she's going to bring as a speaker to our conference. So we hope to see you in October. Check out the website, www.begreatcon.com. We'll see you in October, everyone. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks so much.